Happy morning, happy afternoon, happy evening to all my Nanbas and Nandis. I have five really important concepts for this September 2025 exams, which can fetch you 5 marks, and I'm not gonna take more than 5 minutes for this, guys. Before I get into the concepts, I want to tell you about this killer resource that is available for you. I had given the expected questions and also the answers for the expected questions in this marathon. The duration is only 2.5 hours. I will tell you how to go through this marathon also. You read a chapter and then you come to this marathon and revise all the questions which is there here. Now, hardly half an hour per chapter you're going to spend, and especially if you listen in 1.5x, 2x and all, you can reduce the time even more, guys. Now, getting into the concepts, you can start your timer right now. From chapter number 1, limitations of strategic management. For this, the mnemonic is ETC square. E is environment is highly complex and turbulent. They keep on changing. Strategic management is a time consuming process. Yes, you have to make the strategy, you have to communicate the strategy. When you are communicating, the routine business is going to get affected and all of those things. That is, it consumes a lot of time. Strategic management is also a costly process because expert strategic planners are going to charge in crores, and strategy will be implemented, and only after that you will be able to see the result after proper implementation. So to make the strategy itself charging in crores is too much. It is a costly process. In a competitive scenario, all the organizations are having the strategies for themselves, so it is difficult to estimate the competitors responses. But whatever said and done, even though strategic management has the limitations, the importance outweighs the shortcoming. That means advantages are so much, disadvantages are less. So if they ask limitations of strategic management, you're going to start off with this and then only go to ETC square. Chapter number 2, concept number 2, that is experience curve. This is the experience curve you can see here. Experience curve also called as learning curve. So when you increase the learning, your efficiency also increases. Just see here, when you are producing this many number of units, the cost per units is so high. When you're producing so many number of units, the cost per units is so high. When you increase the number of production, the cost per unit actually reduces. This is only the economies of scale. I will show you the theory for experience curve. Experience curve, also called as learning curve, explains the efficiency increase because of the repetitive productive work where the unit cost is going to decline. We learn as we grow. Experience curve results from variety of factors: learning effect, economies of scale, product redesign, technological improvement. Experience curve has the following features. As the businesses grow, they are going to gain the experience. This is going to give them an advantage over the competition. Large and successful organization is going to have a larger experience effect. You can see the curve go down like that. The next one is core competency areas. What are the 3 conditions for having the core competency? Competitor differentiation, customer value, and application to other markets. According to C.K. Prahalad and Gary Hamel, these 3 are the conditions for developing the core competency areas. Competitor differentiation is one of the main of the 3 conditions because you have to be different from your competitors. That means you have to have some unique features which is difficult for the competitors to imitate. Example, Tesla. The second condition is the customer value, which is basically the fundamental benefit for the end customer in order to get the core competency. The last condition refers to application of the competency, whether you're able to apply to the whole organization. Example, Hindustan Unilever, if you see, they have developed core competency in both marketing and sales, which is the core competency of Hindustan Unilever Limited. Going to the next question, that is strategic alliance, advantages and disadvantages. What is the meaning of strategic alliance? 2 companies or 2 people are living together at 2 separate personalities, but still there is no merger which has happened. They have their own independent personalities, but still they are living together. Now, for a company, if I have to give you an example for strategic alliance, the best one is Samsung and Google. Google Chrome is there, Play Store is there, and Samsung is there. Now, both of them are 2 different companies, but still they are coexisting with each other. Read the text here. Strategic alliance is a relationship between 2 or more businesses that is going to enable them to achieve the objectives which neither will be able to achieve on their own. They maintain their own independence and separate entities, but they share the benefits and the controls over the partnership, and they continue to make the contribution. Advantages of strategic alliance. There are 4 advantages: organizational advantage, economic advantage, strategic advantage, and political advantage. Organizational advantage, it helps them to learn the necessary skill and obtain the capabilities from the strategic partner. Economic advantage reduces the cost and reduces the risk because you are distributing them across the members of the alliance. Strategic advantage, where competitors can come together and decide to cooperate instead of compete with each other. Political advantage, where you are going to gain the entry into a foreign market, and normally you will not be able to enter a foreign market because of some legal barrier or local prejudices. Sometimes when you want to enter into a foreign business also, you can uh, you can form the alliance with politically influenced partners, which will help you to improve your position. The disadvantage of strategic alliance is only one, that is you have to share the resources, share the profits, share the knowledge and skills. Usually you will not share the trade secrets, the knowledge and all of those things, but because of the alliance you have to share, and that is the only disadvantage of strategic alliance. The fifth concept is strategic business unit. For example, you can take Tata for strategic business unit. SBU will always have the president, and under him there will be functions, and there are different strategic business units. These business units are basically a separate business in itself. For Tata, if you see TCS, separate business. Textile business, they have separate business, and there is no relation between TCS and textile business. Now, under the textile business, they have two divisions. West side is there, Zudio is also there. West side will have separate functions, and Zudio also is going to have separate functions. Similarly, car, that is a separate business unit that they are having. Under that, they have affordable car segment, and they also have luxury car segment. These two are different divisions under one business unit. Strategic business units are basically like a separate business in itself, where they're going to have their own cost center, their own profit center. See the characteristics of SBU. It is a single business or collection of related business which offers scope for independent planning, which might feasibly stand alone from the rest. It has its own set of competitors. It has the manager who's going to be responsible for strategic planning and profit performances. SBU structure consists of three levels: corporate headquarters, second level SBU groups, and third level is the divisions. That is it with SBU. The next one is the bonus question, that is turnaround strategy. There are three questions here itself. There is conditions or indicators, elements, and reasons. What is the meaning of turnaround strategy? Something has gone wrong, which is making you look back, turn around and see what has gone wrong. What are the indicators which are going to tell you that you have to turn around? Persistent negative cash flow, uncompetitive product or service, declining market share, deterioration in the physical facilities, overstaffing, high turnover of employees, low morale of employees, and mismanagement. Then what are the changes that is going to happen? The elements of turnaround strategy. You're going to changes in the top management will be seen. Initial credibility building actions will be undertaken, neutralizing the external pressure, identifying quick payoff activity, reducing the cost and increasing the revenue generation. You will liquidate your assets for cash generation, and high internal coordination should be there. That is the elements of turnaround strategy. What are the reasons that a company will opt for turnaround strategy? They no longer wish to remain in the business. It becomes viable by divesting profitable activities. Whatever acquired business is there proves to be a mismatch between them. Persistent negative cash flow, high competition, technological upgradation is happening too much in the industry, and you're finding a better alternative for the money that you have, for the investment that you have. That's it, guys, with the 5 concepts. Little extra time than 5 minutes I have taken, I know that, but yes, that's it from my side. All the very best. Do your exams really well, guys. And like I said, do not forget, the expected question marathon is waiting for you if you have not watched it yet. Yes, guys, all the best. Do well.